For generations, the Marino and Costa families shared only one thing: a deep, unyielding hatred. The origins of their feud were lost to time, buried under layers of bitterness and pride. No one remembered how it all started, but everyone knew it must never, ever end. This was the world they lived in, a world defined by a line drawn in the sand, a line no one dared to cross. The hatred was a legacy, passed down from father to son, from mother to daughter. It was in their blood, in the very air they breathed. Then Alex met Avery. It wasn't planned. It wasn't some grand, dramatic moment. It was an accident, a simple collision on a crowded street, a scattered pile of books, a flurry of apologies, and then a smile, a single, unguarded smile that ignited a spark neither of them could have anticipated. In that brief, accidental moment, something shifted. A connection was made, pure and instantaneous, long before they knew the names that were supposed to keep them apart. They talked for hours, lost in a world of their own making, discovering a shared sense of humor, a mutual love for old movies, and a feeling of comfort that felt like coming home. When they finally exchanged full names, the world came crashing down. Marino Costa. The names hung in the air between them, heavy and suffocating. Fear, cold and sharp, pierced through the warmth of their newfound connection. They should have walked away. They should have forgotten each other, erased the memory of that smile, and returned to their separate, hostile worlds. But it was too late. Love, stubborn and defiant, had already taken root. It had quietly bloomed in the space between their warring families, a fragile flower pushing its way through cracked concrete. So they chose to defy fate. They met in secret, their love story written in stolen moments and whispered conversations. They found sanctuary in hidden corners of the city, a quiet park bench at dusk, a dimly lit corner of a forgotten cafe, the silence of a late-night library. Every shared glance was a risk, every touch a rebellion. They loved in silence, their joy a secret they guarded fiercely. And they hoped in fear, dreaming of a future that seemed impossible, a future where their names didn't matter more than their hearts. Their love was an act of courage, a quiet revolution against a century of hate. They knew the danger, the heartbreak that awaited them if they were discovered. But the thought of living without each other was a far greater terror. Inevitably, the truth came out. A misplaced letter, a whispered rumor overheard, a chance sighting by a cousin. The discovery was like a lit match dropped on gasoline. Chaos erupted. The fragile peace they had built for themselves was shattered by the storm of their family's rage. The hatred, which had simmered for so long, boiled over into open hostility. There were threats shouted across lawns and spat over phone lines. There were ultimatums. Choose us or them. The threat of disownment became a cruel reality. For Alex and Avery, the world shrank, becoming a battleground where they were the sole prize. Fists flew and harsh words cut deeper than any blade. The two families, united only in their fury, turned on the two people who had dared to find love amidst their war. But in the heart of the storm, Alex found a strength he didn't know he had. He refused to let their love be another casualty of the ancient feud. He arranged a meeting, bringing both families together in a tense, volatile standoff. Standing before the stern faces of his parents and Avery's, with his love by his side, Alex's voice rang out, clear and unwavering. "This has gone on long enough," he declared, his gaze sweeping across the room, meeting every angry eye. "Your hatred ends here. It ends with us." The words hung in the suffocating silence, a direct challenge to a century of animosity. He spoke of love, of forgiveness, of a future free from the chains of the past. He painted a picture of a world where their children would have to inherit a war they never started. The raw emotion of the moment was too much. As Alex finished speaking, Avery's father, a man whose identity was so intertwined with the family feud, suddenly clutched his chest. His face, contorted with rage just moments before, turned pale. He staggered and then collapsed, his heart broken not by his daughter's choice, but by the weight of his own consuming rage. The ensuing panic was a blur of frantic calls and sirens. At the hospital, the war was forgotten. The Marino and Costa families' enemies just hours ago found themselves huddled together in the stark, sterile waiting room. The shouting was gone, replaced by a heavy, suffocating silence. There were no sides, no rivals. There were only people, united by a shared, terrifying fear for a man's life. They waited together, not as enemies, but as human beings forced to confront the devastating cost of their hatred. The news came in the early hours of the morning. He had survived. A wave of collective relief washed over the waiting room, so powerful it was almost a physical force. That night, something shifted forever. In the quiet corridors of the hospital, with the sterile smell of antiseptic in the air, the family spoke. For the first time in decades, the conversation wasn't laced with anger or accusation. Instead, their words were quiet, hesitant, and filled with a profound sense of regret. They talked about the years they had wasted, the joy they had sacrificed on the altar of pride. They looked at Alex and Avery, saw the genuine love between them, and finally understood. The wall of hatred, built brick by brick over generations, had finally crumbled. A few months later, Alex and Avery married. The wedding wasn't held on neutral ground. It was held under one roof, a home that now belonged to everyone. Morenos and Costas mingled, laughed, and celebrated together. They didn't stand on opposite sides of the aisle as rivals. They stood together, a single, unified family. Their joy, a testament to the transformative power of love. The legacy of hatred had ended, replaced by a new legacy of forgiveness, acceptance, and hope. Their love story wasn't just about two people finding each other. It was about two families finding their way back to humanity. What do you think? Should love be the force that ends generational hatred? Share this story with someone who believes in the power of love, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching.